Hi, today it's 8 maids a milking. Now there was never going to be much choice really with 8 maids a milking, because apart from the obvious 3-legged stool, milking stool, I couldn't really think of anything at all, or for that matter get any great inspiration from searching, because online there's not a lot comes up with 8 maids a milking. I suppose probably the only route I could have gone down was leather from the cows that were being milked. But again, I've got very little experience in working with it, and the one thing that would have probably helped would be the little laser engraver I've got, but that's playing up, and at the moment I'm not in a position where I can actually engrave anything suitably on it. So I had to forget that one. And the only thing I could come up with, or that I found that kept recurring, was an 8 maids a milking cocktail. There were several of them came up on the searches, all different but following a similar sort of theme. They'd have milk in them, they'd have Christmas sort of flavours, cinnamons, chocolates, that sort of thing. Now, I'm not a great cocktail drinker, so that wasn't quite there, but one thing that cocktails need is ice, and the ice sculpture that I saw them making at Maker Central last year was pretty impressive, and the one thing that struck me about it was how beautiful the ice looked. So I set to just to make some ice so that I could effectively make a cocktail or whatever of that sort, and that got me down into a whole new area. So let's just have a look at the ice that I made and where it took me from there on. Now these are the ice cubes I've just got out the freezer, and they're not particularly attractive. What I'd not really thought about much was that they're just full of air. There's a lot of air bubbles in them. They're not clear in any way, shape or form, and it's all to do with the way the water freezes. And apparently if you can get the water to freeze from the top down in whatever container you're doing rather than from all sides, you can get perfectly clear ice that you can see through that looks like water. So we're going to have a go at that and see how we can produce something that's a bit more attractive. So how can I get a big ice cube like that to freeze from the top down without it all getting cold in from the sides? And the answer is insulation. Now I've got the packaging off the little laser engraver I got the other day. Found a container which fits nicely inside it, and if I just pack the corners of that with a bit of tissue, I can fill that up with water, bung it in the freezer, and hopefully the cold will come in from the top and work its way down, and in that way we will manage to get the clear ice. That's the theory. I've never tried it before. I've seen it done on YouTube. Let's see if it works. So I'm just going to take some plain filtered water and pour into the bottom, and I'll fill it about half full. That gives it the best chance of being insulated at the sides, I think. Let that settle for a minute or two, get the air bubbles out of that, and we'll go and pop it in the freezer. That's it, we leave that 24 hours and see what's happened. So 24 hours later, let's have a look and see what we've got. Take it into the kitchen. On the face of it, it doesn't look that good. It does look just like normal ice. But when you take it out of its container, you can see there's actually a layer there that's perfectly clear. It's not all the same, and there's one or two bubbles in it, I think. But I think it certainly proves the point. I'm just going to run it under a hot tap before I turn it out. Goes. It's interesting, there's a layer at the bottom that hasn't even frozen yet. You can see that's bubbling in there. So there are like 3 layers almost. There's the top, which obviously it's gone slightly cloudy. There's the area where the ice is, and then there's a layer that hasn't frozen as yet. I'm just going to try and cut that off with a sharp knife and see if we can get down to get the ice out. It's got the water out anyway in the middle. Dry that up a bit. That's it, just run it under a hot tap, just gets rid of any of the surplus. But that now, as I say, there are a few small bubbles in there, but on the whole it's incredibly pure stuff. Quite how easy it is to make into cubes, I don't know. I suspect it might be better with a rubber hammer or something on the knife. Just get one. So there we have it, lumps of pure ice. They can be put in a freezer bag and kept for whenever you need them. They're ideal for putting in your favourite drinks. Just a bit of a novelty, but it's something I've at least learned about and now understand a little bit more about. Cheers. So there we are, not so much a build today as more an exploration in physics and playing with things. But again, it's something else that I've learned. All helps to sort of feed the mind. Tomorrow it's going to be 9 ladies dancing, and we'll see where we can take that one. See you then. Bye.